Imagine that we are in the middle of winter. We got a kind of taste of it now, but just imagine it's really the cold. Imagine it's snowing. And imagine it's that really thick, heavy snow. Everything is covered with this heavy snow. So then imagine this branch of a tree is covered with this heavy snow. Okay, can you think of it? And then it's just getting heavier and heavier with the snow. And you got to think, now at what point is the snow too heavy for the branch to bear? At what point is it too much? And then there's that one snowflake that falls on the branch, and it breaks. One snowflake that makes the difference. Now, think of water when it's heated up. Water at 211 degrees is very hot. Water at 212 degrees boils. 1 degree difference. One thing. One snowflake, 1 degree, one thing. Now, for most of you, you know how one thing can change your day. Let's say for the good. One thing that not so much happens to you, but one thing that you can do for somebody else. You just feel better. It becomes a better day because you do one thing. Could be a simple thing, as simple as smiling. Could be simple as saying hello to somebody. Could be as simple as, I don't know, sending off a compliment like an email or a letter. Holding a door open. One thing. Could be getting involved more. Not just watching something happen, but actually doing something. It could be volunteering somewhere. Going out of yourself to do something. One thing. Now in the gospel we heard, Jesus goes to this town and there's lepers. You got to remember, leprosy is a skin disease. It's called Hansen's disease today. It's rare today. But at the time of Jesus, they didn't know what caused it. So if you had leprosy, you had to stay away from people. So these 10 lepers are gathered together, but they come to Jesus because they heard about him. Jesus then says, okay, go show yourselves to the priest, knowing what's going to happen. And they go and they are healed. 9 of them, though, go like, wow, that's cool, okay. And they just kind of go on their day and do whatever. 1, though, realizes, comes back, praising God, and does one thing. He thanks Jesus. Simple as that. And Jesus says, not only are you healed, but you are saved. One thing. Now, for many of us, we would say that our lives are pretty good. You know, you would say, yeah, I got a good family, got a nice place to live, got good friends, school is good, work is good, life is good. And for many of us, what happens is we get caught to be like those 9 others in the story, where we just take it for granted and go, that's cool, that's nice, and just kind of go on our way. But we are invited to be different. We are invited to do one thing, to give thanks. As you heard at the beginning of Mass, that's what the meaning of Eucharist is. We give thanks. We gather together to thank God. But more than that, we are invited and reminded for us to go out and make a difference in the world. Not just to say, yeah, I got a nice family, I look at myself, got nice friends, work, yeah, that's cool, that's nice. But to go and make a change, a difference in the world. And I would say, just do one thing. You don't have to solve all the problems in the world. You don't have to fix everything. but do one thing, one intentional thing. Now, as you know, we've got a pretty dynamic parish. I would call it a vibrant parish. And I'd say that we have a lot of people who get involved in the parish. That's what makes it so vibrant. But there's still a lot of folks who are just like, well, I don't know, I don't have time, or I don't know what to do. And they assume it's somebody else's responsibility or job. But for everybody here, this is your church. This is your community. This is your opportunity to give God thanks by how you respond and how you treat one another. This weekend, at all the Masses, we are inviting all of you, and I would even say, I'm challenging all of you to think about what is one thing that you could do to get involved in the masses here at Christ Our Light. One thing. By signing up, volunteering, doing one thing during the Mass. Now, some of you are involved in many things. I want to applaud that and say, continue that. But some of you still think, well, kind of like the 9 other lepers, well, whatever, and just kind of go on our day. But I'm challenging you to be like the one that comes back and says, thank you, God. Thank you to the community. Thank you for the blessings I have. And I want to show it by one thing, by doing one thing in the liturgy. Again, we have a phenomenal community, but because many of you get it, you've stepped up, you give your thanks, you say, this is your parish. Teenagers, kids, elderly, it's everybody's. And we do thank all of you.